Welcome to another episode of First Line Secrets with Christoph Iser and Theresa Packet. I'm happy to be here and I'm excited about what we are talking today.
Yes, today we are going to be talking about fascia, baby,
Fine.
fascia.
All right. I hope you will explain us what the meaning of fascia is. So let's dive into
I
it.
I will. And this is not going to be an anatomy lesson or anything like that, but fascia is the key to bridging the worlds of Western medicine and Eastern medicine and sort of traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture. So that's what got me started learning about it several years ago. But fascia, um, again, not an anatomy lesson, but we're just going to take fascia to be most of the connective tissue in your body. There is fascia pretty much everywhere in your body. It's like a cellophane wrap. It's sort of shiny and transparent, and surgeons actually use it. They have to find the fascia in order to do all of their keyhole surgery. All of those non-invasive surgeries are going within the channels of fascia.
Oh,
Now
wow.
those channels usually are like stuck together, so there's no space. But those channels can support a lot of space because they have to stick their tubes and their cameras and all the other things, the instruments, right? So there's a lot of potential space
Mm.
in within the fascia. So that is pretty cool. And there's so many things I want to say about fascia. I'm just going to give myself permission. We'll do another episode sometime. But so our muscles, if you think about every sort of muscle fiber as like as like a hot dog, okay? Um, and then you think of the fascia as it's the wrapper around the hot dog, but then you put, like in the grocery store, when you buy hot dogs, there are 8 hot dogs or however many. There's like four, and then there's the the vacuum package on top of that. It's like that. There's layers and layers. It's it's something that protects and forms a boundary in between muscle fibers, your brain. There's fascia all over your brain, and it it also, there's different kinds of fascia, like your heart, obviously, very important organ. There's extra fascia around your heart. In fact, in traditional Chinese medicine, it's an actual separate organ called the pericardium. And we talk about the pericardium, at least doctors do, but we don't elevate it to the status of organ. So there's some extra reverence that the older ancient Eastern medicine had for the fascia. Now, they didn't call it that, they didn't have all of the advances that we have today. But the thing that I love about fascia is that it supports a holistic view of the body. We all know now, like there's a lot of talk about trauma, and trauma can be big T trauma, or what I'm really more talking about is small t trauma, like our traumatic experiences that every one of us had when we were young. And we know that whatever the result of those experiences are, if we didn't process them fully when we were young, which how could we, because we were so little, the the imprint is left in the body somewhere. The imprint is there. It's being held. That experience is being held, and that experience is being held somewhere by our fascia. So when we find ways to relax our fascia and cleanse it. Like our lymph nodes live in the fascia, live in the connective tissue of the fascia, and all of those fluids that that are so important to clean and get pumped, they all live in the fascia. So the fascia is sort of an organ, I say in air quotes, in case you're just listening, I'm making air quotes, that we don't think about in the same way necessarily yet in the West, but I think we're starting to, at least on the fringes, in the integrative medicine and holistic medicine and alternative medicine. You will see, if you Google it, you'll see people starting to talk about it. Maybe not the most traditional doctors yet, but it's a matter of time. But I am just going to say, the better we care for our fascia, the better we will feel physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, because it's the thing within our bodies that holds all of those energies. That's a lot of talking.
Yeah, I love it. And it seems like the fascia is really underrated in the Western medicine. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but yeah.
Yeah, it really is. It's sort of like the way that Western medicine looks at it and reveres it, really, is only the surgeons, for when they're going in and they're along the fascial planes instead of through them. And when they cut through them, it's much better if they're very intentional. It's better if that's not an accident, because our fascia is actually super strong. It's as strong as steel for the weight. If you normalize for weight, because of course steel is very heavy, and our fascia is mostly made out of collagen, so it's lighter, much lighter. Um, it's as strong as steel, though. Like back in the day, professional tennis players used to, their tennis rackets used to be strung with, I think it was um, sheep fascia, sheep, like collagen, like,
Yeah.
so it's super, super strong. Um, so yeah, and if it weren't for our fascia, we would all be just like little masses of jelly. Like our fascia
Mm.
gives us shape, our bones are made out of fascia and the minerals that come out of the fluid, like the calcium, the phosphorus, those things. So those are crystals, but without the collagen from the fascia, they wouldn't be very strong at all. So amen, that fascia is super under, I don't know if it's under, it is underrated. It's just not given a lot of attention in the most traditional parts of medicine in the West. And I think something that goes along with that is that in the West, our medicine works the best when it's an emergency. So, if you're having a heart attack or whatever the emergency is, then that emergency needs to be taken care of immediately, without looking for the root cause. We're just like, okay, we're going in. We don't know maybe why this is happening, but we need to fix it fast. And so we do that. And in Western, we're really reducing, we're more reductionist in our thinking in the West. We don't look for the connections between things. We're like, oh, maybe, I don't know, liver enzymes are low or whatever. So we're looking at that instead of what does that mean and what's the cause of that, and like tracing it all back, which I think Chinese medicine is great at. But they're a little more poetic. They didn't know thousands of years ago about the specific neurotransmitters and hormones and all of that, but they knew what was connected in a more holistic way. They knew a lot of the ways that, for example, the heart and the kidneys are connected, but they would say them in poetic ways instead of in the scientific ways. So it's taking a lot of time for some of these connections to be made because so many people just are very dismissive. Well, you're not, what do you know? You're talking about the lungs being a minister. What does that even mean? That's ridiculous. But I guess I'll tell this little story actually. So in Chinese medicine, the heart is thought of as the emperor and the lungs are the minister. So the heart is the emperor. And what does a minister do? A minister protects the emperor maybe from himself a little bit and keeps away the people who are going to harm the emperor, right? So if you look at what happens between the lungs and the heart in the body, and now I don't want to get all anatomical, but from one side of the heart, all of the blood goes through the lungs. After it comes back from the body, it goes through the lungs. The lungs are the only organ that take all of the blood from the heart. So it goes from one side, all of it goes through the lungs, gets cleaned out, all the little clots are taken out and some other stuff. We're not getting scientific. And then it goes back to the heart so that it can be pumped to the rest of the body. It's cleaned out. So the lungs really are ministering to the heart, and they're not letting anything bad get through and get back to all of the subjects, all of the other organs and things like that. So that's just one example, but even though Chinese medicine didn't know all of the names of the chemicals, they had a great understanding of overall what is happening and the connections between things. And the other thing that that's really important in Chinese medicine is the lungs, every organ in Chinese medicine has an emotion that goes along with it, an emotion that's related to it, that it sort of that it cares for, and emotions that go very wrong often affect the organ and the other way around. So with the lungs, the emotion is grief. And so when you're just taken up by grief, what happens? You're kind of curling in, and you maybe have difficulty breathing, or maybe you're going into like a depressive state. So there's a connection there between the energy of the lungs, and so the Chinese would say the qi of the lungs, and the grief. And so Chinese medical doctors would associate those things together. And I love that that the physical and the emotional are connected in this way.
All right, T, is there more to say for today? You want to keep on? Otherwise, I'm telling people about our idea, but please.
Oh,
Don't if you
fantastic. I
like
love
it.
it. I love it. I think just for today, just saying, hey, there's so much with fascia. And I think that's good. Just introducing the word and the concept and giving a few examples for today. I think that's a good way to wrap that up.
Yes. And this is like a good, yeah, a good time or a good point to jump in and talk about our idea. Um, because we want to share more with you and we need your help. Because there will be like a membership where we tell you like really of our own challenges, all about relationship and self-care and self-love. And when we speak about relationships, it's about family relationships, like to our parents, to our siblings, to, yeah, all about family. And of course, our partners and friends and business partners and, colleagues and whatever. So it will be all about relationships, but it will also be, when it's about self-love, about the body. And for example, T will explain some exercises for the body and how you can, for example, support your fascias. So this is the thing. We want to make that membership on YouTube. We want to make it. So we need your help to make 1,000 subscribers. We just started. It's just the third episode, right?
Third episode, yeah.
So third episode. So if you feel like this is helpful and this will be helpful for you and you love to join really in, you love to see more about from T, you love to see more about me, like our wisdom, our expertise, share that stuff, share the channel, we left a subscription, and that's how we can grow and support you as well, because there is some awesome stuff coming. And yeah, this is the help we are asking for. So subscribe, and share it.
Yes, and like the video, definitely. And yeah, you can share the channel, you can share any of the videos. This would be very helpful for us in being able to offer you the membership.
All right. So that's it for today. We hope to see you to the next episode and see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye.